Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first check-in of 2025.
Look at you taking part of Ukrainian Heritage Night.
Right. Wow. Okay. Well, yeah, it looks fantastic on you.
There's a nice video over there that you could have taken part of.
Okay, so Jamie wants to get right into it tonight. The Winnipeg Jets come home for 8 games, as we put it. They're home forever, which is a great
forever.
Their season longest homestand of the season. It is also Ukrainian Heritage Night. Food, dance, music, celebrate organizations and individuals for their positive impact on Winnipeg's Ukrainian community. Husley is singing the anthems, which we know is always a huge hit with Jets fans. Hit. But let's get you set for this game. The Anaheim Ducks in town as the kickoff, this homestand and kickoff the 2025 season or calendar year. The Winnipeg Jets 14-3-1 at home. Yeah,
and it's the second longest homestand since I've been here. And then, of course, I did some research today and actually looked back when that 10-game homestand was. It was not 18-19, it was 17-18. I thought they went 5-5, they went 6-3-1, so not even close in that department, but
that was close.
5 wins, 6 wins.
You were close.
Freddie was there to help me.
We love to see so many of you already in the chat, already as we get you set for this game. Over the next 30 minutes, you will hear from Ville Heinola, who dressed back into the lineup, caught up with him just a short while ago. And then very excited because we will have Bruce Boudreau join us to talk a little bit about what he's seen from the Jets as well. And Bruce Boudreau, one of my favorite former coaches for the NHL, covered him extensively throughout the years, especially his time early on when he was with Washington, did a lot of the Capitals playoff series. Felt like every year I was doing Capitals Rangers playoff series, of course, his years in Anaheim as well, and then Minnesota.
You must have done a lot of Capitals Pittsburgh too as well, right?
But a lot of, I felt like I think I did every playoff series that involved Bruce Boudreau versus John Tortorella.
Right.
Those times. So
that's like
those
glorious.
You want as a media member,
from a quote perspective.
You want good quotes?
Yeah.
Oh, those two happen. So anyways, very excited to have Bruce join us as well. He does a fantastic job, whether it be with TSN, now NHL Network as well, and just always so entertaining out there.
Yeah, lots to go with. And of course, the Jets closing out 2024 with a 5-2 loss to the Colorado Avalanche. That cut their 4-game win streak to a halt. But lots of things to like about what Winnipeg did in Denver for sure, because of the way they played the first 2 periods. They fell behind twice. They fought back, got a goal from Rasmus Kupari, gave Velarde keep scoring. So lots of good things come out of that. Colorado, of course, push in the 3rd period. And Eric Comrie still waiting for that win for him, because
I know it's going to come soon.
Yeah, played well again. He
did again.
Amazing.
33 saves.
Yeah, not much more you can ask for in that department. But Mike Wynn pointing out quickly here, 300, 300, 300. The reason why we're talking about that is because the starting goaltender tonight, Connor Hellebuyck, closing in on career win number 300, one of the milestones that he's really excited about reaching.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll get to that. We'll hear from the dressing room just shortly, where players spoke about Connor Hellebuyck. But let's get to the question of the day, since so many of you are already in the chat. Now, we know that players don't look beyond the game that is in front of them.
Especially this group this year. They've been very adamant.
That's right.
It's this game.
As has Scott Arniel.
Yeah.
They are very adamant. They do not look beyond the game that is immediately in front of them. But the great news is that does not apply to you and I, or to you watching out there.
Different rules for all of us.
So, as mentioned, it is an 8-game homestand. So the question of the day:
how many wins are you expecting from this homestand?
So here's who's coming up: Detroit, Nashville, LA, Colorado, Vancouver, Seattle, Calgary.
Okay.
So let's hear from you guys. We know that you will certainly have opinions on this. So looking forward to hearing and looking to see so many of you. We see some new faces in the chat. 6. I like it.
See, I'm of the belief that 6 is realistic. I think that's a good one. So Rainman, good call on that one. One Bird comes in at 6 Asplin comes in at 6-2. One Bird 6-1-1 or 5-1-2 has got multiple options. So
I like it.
Brian says 7 wins. Phyllis 7 out of 8. But Debbie would be 8. Would be fantastic, but 6 might be realistic. So keep those comments coming in as we roll in. So how many wins are you expecting from this homestand? as the Jets try to be perfect on this one.
Yes. So morning skate happened. We, so often I feel as if now you and I, when we're discussing morning skates, we say either there
Optional.
wasn't one or it's an optional.
Yes.
And so we don't know. It was a full morning skate today because the Jets had yesterday off, being January 1st. So this is what the anticipated lineup is for this evening. It looks like the change is going to be on the blue line in that third pairing, with Ville Heinola drawing back in.
Yeah, Ville Heinola, and of course Logan Stanley with Neil Pionk. That's been a pretty good pairing. Full credit to Neil Pionk for whoever he's been paired with this year. His game has not changed. So that says a lot about the year that he's having. Logan Stanley, I believe, has assists in 3 straight games.
Yes.
And then Ville Heinola, of course, coming in the lineup. Colin Miller, one of the things I remember from Colin Miller was when Dylan DeMello blocked that shot in the third period in Denver the other day. He was having a heck of a time coming off the ice because it said his leg went dead pretty much, hit a nerve somewhere. Colin Miller literally took a stick and poked him in the back and pushed him off the ice. So it's funny because Dylan was talking about that today. He says, I'm not sure who it was, but somebody gave me a little push to the bench. It was Colin Miller. So Colin Miller will be the defense pairing with Ville Heinola tonight.
Yeah, people very happy, obviously, to see Dylan DeMello, especially with the rash of injuries that they have had, that he was able to be out there today, will be in the lineup, and spoke to the media this morning. You mentioned, though, and as did a couple others, 300 being the key number. Connor Hellebuyck looking for his 300th win. So he had said early on this season, and he might have said at the end of last year too, but definitely said it early on this season, that there are certain milestones, obviously, that he was looking for. So he wanted to get to 500 games played. That happened last year.
Yeah.
Late in March. He wanted 40 shutouts. Key number for a goaltender.
Got it.
Got that November the 7th. Check. Next up, 300 wins. Again, he's sitting there at 299 right now. Should he get this win, and even if he gets it in the next couple of games, but should he get the win tonight, he will be the 3rd fastest goaltender in NHL history to accomplish that. So remarkable season for Connor Hellebuyck continues.
And of course, the challenge of describing how great of a goaltender Connor Hellebuyck is. We'll start with Dylan DeMello answering the question from John Liu from TSN about, is he better this year than he was last year? And after DeMello, we'll hear from Adam Lowry.
Hard to say. I mean, maybe even the years he wasn't as statistically good, he's always been a top goalie. I think he makes a ton of saves that, maybe the normal goalie wouldn't make. Maybe in previous years we weren't as stingy, so maybe those goals went in a little bit more frequently. But he's just so good and so sound in his game. His confidence level is through the roof. He cleans up a lot of mistakes for us back there. I'm not a goalie guru, so maybe that's a question for Flats or Comms, but for me, every year he's just been so consistent, so solid.
Yeah, he lets us know every day. No, I'm kidding. But no, I think we're all aware of it. You look at the body of work and his career and what he's done since he's come into the league. He's, I'd say one of the best goalies, of our generation. Is over his 10 years in the league, and it's kind of one of those things where he continually seems to wow you. He continually gets better, and you think the numbers from the previous years are unbelievable, and he has a start like he's had this year. So we're really happy and really lucky to be a part of it. And
Adam Lowry finishing things off in the way Adam answered, because they were just saying that 300 wins is coming, and that's when Adam started joking that he lets us know every day. But I see some of the chats thought about we weren't about personal goals this year. It's not so much about the personal goals, and clearly Connor Hellebuyck's main goal is winning a Stanley Cup.
Absolutely.
But these are milestones that are very important to goaltenders, and you touched upon being the 3rd fastest. It's not like Connor Hellebuyck's going, I want this about me.
Yeah.
It's important. This is like, these are numbers that down the road will lead you to the Hall of Fame, and certainly he's on his way to that, and then some.
Well, I think even when you look at his last win here on home ice and the shutout that he had, first off, I saw someone in the chat saying about how the reaction from the fans is going to be tremendous when he does get that 300th win. Absolutely. It was a tremendous reaction. He was first star of the last game, and it was a tremendous reaction here. The atmosphere inside Canada Life Center has been fantastic throughout. In particular, December, the holiday season, it just continues to ramp up. It certainly will be whenever he does get this 300th win. But you look at his numbers. I mean, after the last game, across social media, you were seeing a number of people from outside of this marketplace talk about how he just continues to astound them with the numbers that he's putting up, the play, the effectiveness that he has. You look at him through December, 12 starts, 9-2-1, 933 save percentage, a 1.82 goals against average. I mean, he is the runaway favorite to claim Vezina again. If he were to get his third Vezina, the only other goaltender in the 2000s to have 3 Vezinas was Martin Brodeur.
And here's another thing too. Like maybe this conversation should start is just now. I think you can throw Connor Hellebuyck into the Hart Trophy conversation. Like that, obviously there's the Nathan McKinnons, there's the Connor McDavid's out there, but Connor Hellebuyck, I think at this point, the way he's playing, how steady he's been this year, and how important he's been to the Jets being in first place in the National Hockey League, I think he has to start the conversation of being a Hart Trophy candidate at this point.
Yeah, he has been tremendous. And what I loved after that last one, when he was, so I was talking to him after the game in front of the crowd, and just the love that he was giving back to the fans as well, how much fun that he is having, how much fun this team is having right now. They're a cohesive group. You love to see it, and that it continues to pay off in terms of wins. So to mention, Bruce Boudreau will come up shortly. We did say Ville Heinola returning to the lineup, and I caught up with him just a short while ago.
Like you drop back into the lineup tonight, for you, when you get these opportunities, what is the focus for you, especially early in the game?
I'm just trying to get into the game, especially the first period, just get my speed back, hands back, everything, and just try to start feeling good again and go from there.
What has been the focus for you? I mean, it's been challenging when you look at players that have been in and out of the lineup and trying to get that regular ice time. What has been the biggest challenge for you this season and trying to deal with it, maybe make the most of the opportunities when they're?
I mean, I think it's more to do with your mental side of the game. It's just when you don't play and you kind of get a little bit away from the game, and then you come back in and you have to be able to perform. So that's I would say the mental side of things is the hardest part. But just trying to focus, even when you're not playing, just try to live like you're playing and try to stay in on it.
Connor Hellebuyck is on the cusp of a milestone of 300 wins, currently sitting at 299. For you as a defenseman, what is it that you appreciate most about a guy like Hellebuyck in net?
I mean, obviously it's nice to have the trust there, not a lot of shots gonna go in, but for me the biggest is how he plays the puck too, especially the breakouts, and he's great with the communication on the ice, so that makes our job pretty easy when he can do other things there too.
The start of an 8-game homestand, how critical can that be, and how nice can that be for this group to finally be able to have a steady amount of time at home?
Oh, I think it's huge, especially with the schedule we have. We haven't played a lot at home, and we've been a lot on the road, so it's always nice to be at home, and especially have these fans with us too, so it's great.
What do you know about this Ducks team?
I mean, we played them a little while ago, and they forecheck hard. They're skilled players, but I think if we just execute our plan, we're going to be fine and just play our game.
Always appreciate the time. Best of luck tonight, Billy.
Thank you.
Ville Heinola, ready to get back in. And so Scott O'Neill talked about that again today, about the rotation on defense, because Dylan Coghlan played the last 2 games. O'Neill did say that it was unfortunate Dylan had to play on his wrong side, but that is the way things are going right now as they rotate through. So Ville Heinola's turn tonight, as Logan Stanley continues to play well, Neil Pionk. So that's the benefit, and sometimes the problem when you have so many good NHL defensemen, you got to keep moving them in and out of the lineup the way the Jets have been doing it. And really, they haven't really missed a beat in that aspect. So a lot of respect and kudos go to the players that have been going in and out of the lineup for the Jets on the blue line.
Yeah, absolutely. Not an easy scenario for anybody when you're trying to be able to find that consistency within your own game. It's mentioned the Jets 14-3-1 at home. Anaheim does have a better road record than they do at home. They're 7-6-3 on the road, although we know their struggles. Young team still trying to find their game, but they have won their last 2, a win against Edmonton, a win over the Devils as well. So as we've discovered, and they beat the Jets earlier on this season in December when the Jets were out there. So certainly you can never take any team lightly. You can't overlook any team in the NHL.
Somebody that has never taken anybody lightly is former NHL coach Bruce Boudreau, who joins us now and a current NHL analyst. Bruce, what is the challenge going from coaching to being an analyst? We'll start that one with you.
I think the biggest challenge is you want to coach again. But You know what? For me, it's when I first started doing this, it's not cutting up players or cutting up coaches or the way they coach, and being very cognizant of who you're talking about, because a lot of them are your friends or your colleagues at least. And so, I mean, you don't want to be the guy, like if you ever want to coach again, you don't want to say that guy's a terrible player and he's being horrible. And the next thing you know, you're coaching that team and he comes up to you and says, "Hey, whoa, I know what you think of me." So, I mean, I think being cognizant of that and trying to word the things properly were the biggest challenges for me.
Have you ever gotten text messages, Bruce, whether it be from friends that are former coaches or former players that go, "Man, you're killing me. What are you doing?"
No, I've got it the other way around. Like, I mean, that have said, "Hey, listen, thanks for the nice words and everything." An example, Cam Fowler, I talked to after the 1,000th game, and he was grateful. And there's a lot of guys, I mean, if they have milestones. I mean, I've talked to Quinn Hughes and Pedersen after a couple things that they've done in the past, and they're very appreciative. I think it's important to, like, whether you're coaching or you're not, and you've had relationships with these guys, if they do something good and I have their number, I'm going to contact them and congratulate them. I've talked to Luke Shen, quite often in the summer and when he first went to Nashville. So, I mean, he's one of my favorite guys. So it's I think it's important. As far as coaches go, boy, I have a hard time criticizing them. I know I disagree with some things they do, but you just got to, again, word it properly, I think.
Well, we're going to get you to word this properly. What stands out about this year's edition of the Winnipeg Jets?
Well, I mean, to me, they're a team with not a lot of new guys. Like, maybe I'm wrong. I see it, but I mean, they've grown together. I mean, Scott Arniel's not like a new coach. He's been there, as the associate coach last year with Rick, and he actually had head coaching time with the Jets. But I mean, what stands out about is their consistency. Listen, when I was in Minnesota, I played these guys way too often, and and in Anaheim I played them in the playoffs. In Minnesota I played them in the playoffs. So I've seen them a lot, and really come to even Vancouver. We played them. I think all 3 times before I got let go. And I'm going, man, I don't want to see these guys anymore. And it just seems every time I've coached them, Kyle Connors decides to go on a roll here and show how good he is. And I've always been a huge Mark Scheifele fan and Connor Hellebuyck. So I mean, what stands out, but overall as a team, what really stands out is their great defensive play. Who's out of the lineup, who's out of the lineup, it doesn't really matter to me. They play very good defensively. All guys come back in the zone. They all protect the middle of the ice. They all realize, I think, that it's not about the individual accolades. It's about the team accolades. And I think this is one of the years that they've got a real legitimate chance to come out of the West and represent not only Winnipeg but Canada in the Stanley Cup. I really believe it's in Canada. It's between them and Edmonton. I mean, I picked Edmonton last week only because they've been there before and they've done it. I would pick Winnipeg in the same vein, that they don't have a very good taste in their mouth of what happened in last year's playoffs. So I think they did it at the start of the season when they went 14-1. I think when playoff time comes, and I truly believe in the Central that they're going to be first or second. So they're going to have home ice for sure. And I mean, they're going to use that as a calling card. Remember what happened last year. And I think they'll be a real tough team to beat.
Yeah, well, certainly. I mean, Jets fans hoping that. I think when you look at the struggles that they've had in the first rounds since 2018, when they were able to get through to the Western Conference Final, Jets fans certainly hoping that it's a different tale this season. Bruce, it's a little bit of a different year, obviously, with Four Nations break coming up too. So you just look at that condensed schedule. But Scott Arniel has said that it's the push to Christmas, and then it's the push to the Four Nations break. As a coach, just overall, when you when you make that push to the Christmas break and then you come out of it, what is the biggest challenge for a coach in that stretch, maybe right afterwards or as the game starts to change a little bit?
It's like anything else. I think it's like I'll liken it to anybody that has a regular job and they get the weekend off. It's coming back to work on Monday. You're going like, I got to get back into this thing. Went through the Olympic break the last time when it was 2 weeks off, and it took a little while for the guys to get back into it. There's the one group that takes your family to with the Bahamas or something for a week, and they have a hard time getting back in it. Then there's the other group where the guys just continue to stay in the gym and do everything. I mean, you've seen the guys that take their skates home and stuff. I mean, they used to do that with me. I don't know if they ever used them, but it was a good show to the coach, right? I'm taking my skates home, so I'm going to be working out, right? So, but I mean, I think the biggest thing is when they get back, I mean, to get them involved right away, to even when we used to have the week off, like, I mean, the mandatory week off, and you only have one practice before you play, everything is condensed. So you got to get everything in a hurry. But I think Scott's done it right in that he's broken the season into different areas. And, and I think the players know it. And what I would do is I would email all of them and remind them, hey, we're back in 3 days. Be ready. Let's not, we got to hit the ground running. Let's not just wait until we get here and say, now what do we do? And we're not going through testing and that. We're gonna step on the gas right away. And I just think the reminder to the players and keeping them going and having a goal in sight. Like, I mean, they might they got 8 games in a row at home now. I mean, you might have a goal in sight from the Christmas break to the Four Nations. If we've got X amount of games, let's make sure that we're this at this point, after that point, and then do the same thing when it's over. I mean, I used to do with me, it was always let's win the week. I mean, I wanted to keep it short because I know a lot of hockey players that can't remember an awful lot of stuff, including me. Like, I mean, so we felt that if we could win the week, if there was a 3-game week and we would go 2-1, we were successful, or 0-3, and then you wipe it out and you start fresh again. So I think goals like that are really important.
Connor Hellebuyck is on the cusp of 300 career wins. Bruce, is it a fair question to ask you, in your mind, is he playing better this year than he was last year when he won the Vezina Trophy?
I think so. I think the guy has been outstanding. I mean, his goals against average is around 2. I mean, he seems to play every game. I mean, that I had the question asked to me last week, and I think that's the only thing that worries me about him. I don't know him personally, but he looks like a guy like wants the net all the time, every game. And, and sometimes for your own good, you got to say, okay, wait, we're in a really good spot here. The backups, he's pretty good too. Let's give him some time. So the playoffs, if they questioned it last year about whether he was overworked, and so, I mean, and that's why he didn't have a great playoff, let's take care of that. Let's give him a little bit more rest. And because coming down the stretch is not when you get the rest. It's about now. It's the dog days of January and February that, I mean, you should be rested a little bit, I think. But he's great. Sorry. I mean, if I took off on the answer, he's been great. Look at the first time I saw him, he stopped 7 breakaways for against Minnesota. And I kept telling the guys, I said, are you guys crazy? Just, I mean, he's stopping everything. Shoot, do something. But I mean.
Well, Bruce, I can only imagine when you were behind the bench, what it was like when you go up against the Jets and go, great. Hellebuyck's starting again, really. I'm sure that many coaches feel that way. Appreciate you spending some time with us. Always one of our favorites. I know certainly one of my favorites, covering you over the years as well. And really appreciate you taking some time today to talk a little bit about the Jets with us.
Anytime, you guys. Just give me a ding. I'll be there. Okay.
All right. We'll hold you to that, Bruce. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye now.
One of the most entertaining coaches.
I'm sorry, covering that series with him and John Tortorella must have been know we talked about
Any
earlier in
of
the show,
them.
but it was just that's
You know what I always loved, and here's one of the things with Bruce that had. So when he was with the Ducks, and we were doing one of the series with TSN, and so he had made Teemu Selanne a healthy scratch.
right.
And so PR had come over and they said, you cannot, he's not going to talk about it. Do not ask him about this. And go, well, I mean, it's the biggest news of the day. How can you not ask him about it? And he came out and he was so great. And I just said, Bruce, I have to ask you about it. This
Yeah.
was before we started the interview. Have to ask you about it. So I can ask you this way or this way and whatever, but just so that you know, I am asking you about it. And so he says, oh, okay, well, that's fine. And then gave a fantastic answer, as he's known to do, and always interjects humor and stories into it.
So wait a second. PR told you not to ask the question, but you asked the question anyways.
Yes, you
Yeah.
had to ask the
Yeah,
question.
I know.
So it was
Yeah.
just, you know.
That's why you are the journalist that you are.
Well,
You do not take no for an answer.
Said, come on, Bruce.
Yeah.
Bruce is just, he's delightful.
Because he understands.
And he's entertaining.
Yeah.
He just, the way that he interjects some of his stories into there as well. So really appreciate that. Looking through, I love Phyllis. Obviously, we love Bruce as well. So hopefully we can have him on again in 2025. Also, just I saw someone ask about Sandberg on there. Sandberg he was out on the ice today. He's in the yellow jersey. It was the first step for him, but there's still no timeline that is set right now for when he'll be able to return. Mason Appleton, if you remember, is still sidelined week to week.
Ezra, Happy New Year, Jamie and Sarah. Keep asking those hard-hitting questions. Sarah Orlesky fan club continues to grow.
Go for it.
Daily.
It's great to see Ezzy joining us.
Yep.
Always like to.
I love when Ezzy
see
chips
that.
in.
Yeah, so do
Yeah.
I. We talk a little volleyball too, so you can go back and forth about a variety of college
Okay.
sports.
I didn't know Ezzy loves the volleyball.
Well, loves college sports.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. That's
So
good.
That's
Yeah.
a whole separate one.
Yeah.
Message later about that. Okay, so again, as we wrap things up, because we know Winnipeg Sports Talk is going to
Yes.
get going first as well. Your change to the lineup today, Ville Heinola draws in on that third pairing. Connor Hellebuyck back in net. He is on the cusp of his 300th win. The power play continues to roll on for
Didn't even
the
get
Jets.
not one chance in Denver. That's the only time
No,
this year. Not one
but
power
when you
play.
look at them at home, they've scored power play goals on 6 of 8 games at home here. If you just look at the month of December, obviously it's been very impactful as well in some of those wins. The job that Gabe Vilardi has been doing. Nikolai Ehlers to Vilardi. Will we see that tonight? That could have been a question of the day for us. That could be a question next one.
We have 7 more games in the homestand to
So
throw that off.
And we're coming up on the halfway mark. I think it's game 41 on Saturday.
Okay.
So
remember, it's Ukrainian Heritage Night.
yes. So, and this one, often we show you deals that are going to be happening throughout the game if you are coming to the game. But this, we just wanted to highlight. You can get these in any of the Jets Gear store. You can get any of it on their website as well. So purchase at some great spots. I love the people that pointed out that they really like you with the chain. Anytime you've worn a chain, people love it. I feel like it's really it embodies.
Is this the second time the chain?
Second or third time.
I just like when they come down with the bags of goodies. That's the best part. So I never have to comb my hair properly anymore. So it's just always something to slap on top of the head. So there we go.
There you go.
Okay.
Great logo, though. Should be a great night here tonight. The atmosphere, again, has been outstanding at Canada Life Center as the Jets kick off the first of 8 games here. So looking forward to seeing so many of you in the chat. We see a ton of you here. That chain is off the chain.
Nicely done.
Bling, bling, Thomas. Maybe that's what I'm going to call you from now on. Bling, bling.
Producer Adam laughing off to the side there. So before we let him have any more creative control here, we got to get out of here.
All right,
Yeah.
we'll get out of here. We enjoy the game tonight. It is on TSN. Looking forward to that one. You can also listen, as always, on CJOB. Paul Edmonds, Mitchell Clinton will have the call for you there. We will see all of you on Saturday.
Thanks for watching, everybody. The Red Wings are in town, but first it's the Anaheim Ducks.
Looking forward to it. Thanks so much for checking in.